Well, I thought we were going to have a full house. There was years where we only have 2 people. Then there was years where we had the house packed. So I really thought, I was like, there's going to be a line to get in. But anywho, I thank you all so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure. Usually we have you guys on the dais, but we'll have you out here with us. So thank you. So do you want to do a roll call? Do we do Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Mayor Wilson? Here. Vice Mayor Almazan? Here. Commissioner Reese? Here. Commissioner Collins? Here. All right, we have everyone in the house, and we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you guys would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I should have put the flag out here, but I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, so tonight we're going to discuss the town hall is to discuss about the Avenue A, but before we did that, I did want to present a little update on all the things that we're working on and doing in the CRA. So we'll start with that, and I'll try to get you guys out of here in about an hour. So I'll do my best. I talk a lot, so. Okay, so Belle Glade Community Revitalization Agency. That's what CRA stands for. Next slide. So I tried to get something a little bit catchy. I wanted to put MVP, but I couldn't think of anything with a P, so I did the MVV, the mission, the vision, and the values. The mission, to administrate and the taxpayers' benefits of programs to ensure compliance, to contribute to the economic and social well-being of Belle Glade residents. The vision, to have a downtown that everyone wants to visit or live in. And the values, the integrity, the professionalism, the respect and collaboration that we're all going to have for our CRA. And the value of your time being here and my time, the commissioner's time, directors and everybody being here to give you guys an update, okay? So a little history of the CRA, or I'm sorry, not so much the CRA, but the downtown area, specifically Avenue A. It was originally our main street. That's where we had City Hall, the fire, I think, well, it used to be called the Blue Crab, and it has a new owner now, but that was the original chamber. That was the main street. That was the downtown where everybody went shopping, dined. It was just a place to hang out. And it was one of the most thriving streets in the city of Belle Glade back in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and a little bit before my time. So I was able to find some pictures on there of CRA, so you can see the little downtown, the traffic that it had, the little stores. It was a nice little downtown. So today is a little historic street. However, this area with the growth, everything happening in South Florida, people began to move out, West Palm began to grow. We had Wellington, Loxahatchee, people just began leaving or migrating or, just moving east, west. So we had people leave, and this decline negatively affected our downtown businesses and the downtown area overall. So in 2001, the commissioners at the time, they started seeing that. They started seeing, we're losing people. People are starting to leave because, there's growth in West Palm or on the East Coast, West Coast, and we need to do something about it. So they started saying, well, you know what, let's conduct a study. And so they conducted a study. They got feedback from the community, and in 2004, the CRA was approved. So the CRA was established for the purpose of revamping the downtown area, to make it look a little bit more appealing, to try and help it. It was also established because when you have a CRA, you're able to try and get more grants and funding for it, and you have a little bit more control on the things that you do within the CRA area. A lot of cities establish a CRA area, for example, to try to revamp it and promote it a little bit more. For example, Delray Beach. Atlantic Avenue was not what Atlantic Avenue is today. In 2015, they revamped it, and it's beautiful today. They added landscaping, parking. They added all this cool stuff to Atlantic Avenue. I mean, it grew. It's a hot spot now. So that was Delray. Miami. Wynwood was not what Wynwood is today. Wynwood was actually a whole bunch of graffiti. It just had a whole bunch of graffiti. It was like a big, 2-3 blocks of graffiti. They had a CRA, and they said, you know what, we got to do something with this. And they used it to their benefit. They had Wynwood. So Some walls they did leave up with a little bit of graffiti, but they did murals. And so now you have bars, shops, people dine there, shopping, clubs, all this type of stuff. They revamped it. Okeechobee also revamped its historical downtown. I went to a conference about a year or two ago, and Bozeman is in the middle of nowhere. It's Bozeman, Montana. Middle of nowhere, but what I wanted to see is how they were able, or what strategies did they use to revamp it. Middle of nowhere, however, it's 2 hours away from Yellowstone Park. And so they used that to their benefit. They revamped it, they had the cutest little shops, they added all this cool stuff. So I thought, well, we're only an hour away from one of the largest growing counties in the state and in the nation, Palm Beach. So if they can do it, we can too. Next slide. So if you look at the boundary line, the black boundary line was what the original, you can't see it with my laser, it doesn't go through the screen. That's a bummer. But anyway, the black outline was the original established CRA. That's the boundary, the original boundary. Now in 2024, it was proposed and approved by the commissioners to expand. So everything in orange today is the CRA district, everything in orange. So it has a large part of our town. Next slide. Our timeline leads us here. So in 2004, the CRA was established. 2004 to 2023, limited work has been done. However, in 2023, we got boots on the ground. That's when we started having some community meetings, business forums. We were trying to get a little bit more feedback and develop a plan. We wanted an actual plan because with the plan, you're able to go and seek grants and go to the state and just have a little bit, you're more prepared. So you're able to get a little bit more funding. That was 2023. 2024, well, actually 2023. Because we had our plan, it was published, we were able to go and get a grant. TPA was offering some grants, and so we were able to apply for one based on the feedback received from the community. Oh, sorry. Les, you want to help me with that? I'll put it right here. Based on the community feedback, there was 5 streets you guys wanted, or we all wanted to work on. Avenue A, Southwest 8th Street, MLK, 5th Street, Hillsborough Canal, downtown alleyways. But we wanted to start with Avenue A. TPA came over, they gave us a grant at no cost. These are 100, 200, they can go up to $300,000 grants. We got it at no cost, thankfully. So they came out here, they looked at our CRA, they looked at our plan, they looked at all the feedback we had gathered by the community, and they decided, well, yeah, Avenue A has a lot of traffic, it has a lot of shops, there's a lot that we can do on Avenue A to revamp it and to the benefit of the city. I do want to point out that it was on the published, it's on there based on the community feedback and everything, but I did see that whenever we were sharing this on Facebook and overall the community, a lot of people were like, why not somewhere else? Why Avenue A? Why not MLK? I wish we could revamp every street in Belle Glade. I really do. And if it was up to me, I'd revamp Main Street because, that's where we have a lot more traffic. But some people will say, no, I want Avenue L, or I want MLK, or I want, Canal Street. But we're going based on what we had in the plan, the community's feedback at the time. This is what was established and approved, and based on the study that TPA conducted. So we're moving forward with Avenue A. And so tonight, that's why we're here, to discuss the final, because they drafted everything. So we need the final to be published, and they're looking for community engagement. All right, next slide. So based on the 2023 community feedback received, the following 5 priorities were identified. What you guys wanted to see was economic development, housing and residential life, public improvements and infrastructure, community development, public safety. When it came to economic development, there was a lot of talk about coffee shops, dining, things to do, just more things for the community. Housing and residential life, adding housing or housing projects or a type of grant type of thing. Public improvements and infrastructure, improved sidewalks, roads, making it a little bit more appealing in the CRA district. Community development, they wanted to see more meetings, more updates, what's going on in the CRA, and that's what we're doing tonight. Public safety, a little bit more updating, I guess, in the infrastructure. They wanted to see some buildings that were potentially hazards be demoed. So we'll talk about that. Next slide. Economic development. And the CRA economic development's been limited. Only a few new commercial enterprises have opened. We did see O'Reilly's. The Banyan Tree moved over from Avenue L to Avenue A, which was great. They revamped it, they renovated it. It's an absolute beautiful little restaurant. Obviously, we have Famous Wings, but right beside Famous Wings, there's this new little pasta place. There was a new coffee shop also open in the CRA district, so that was good. But we want more. So, a few years ago, I went to this one meeting in Green Acres where they were talking about their CRA, and I wanted to get a little bit of insight on what it is that they were doing and how they were able to revamp it. So, what they did was they put $1 million aside, and they did it to help business owners in their CRA district. They were giving everybody $25,000. Giving $25,000, but the business owner had to match $25,000. So now they had $50,000 to play with, and it was for the purpose of revamping their business. New windows, doors, paint, just new facades. So I thought, oh, that's a great idea. We should do that in Belle Glade. So we only ran into one small problem. We don't have $1 million in Belle Glade. So I was like, well, that's a bummer. So instead, we're in the process of working and trying to develop a little business grant, phase 1. We're going to try and see if we can set some money aside. We don't have $1 million. Green Acres is a larger city. They have a lot more money than we do. But is there something that we can do with the little bit of money that we do have in the CRA? And that's to develop a grant, maybe not $25,000, but maybe $5,000, in which the business owner would also match $5,000. So now they have $10,000 to also do something to the building, whether it's paint, doors, windows, if you can find some windows, but at least it's something to help the business owners on Avenue A, phase 1. Another thing that we're talking about trying to do is trying to see, you know how they have TGIF, Thank God It's Friday? Well, we're coming up with Thank God It's Thursday. City employees work Monday through Thursday. Some of us work a little bit more. But we're trying to see if we can come up with a committee and at least once a month, last Thursday of the month, try to visit these business owners in the CRA area to try to get a little bit more exposure. Kind of like coffee with a cop, but coffee or lunch with a city employee once a month. We're going to share it on Facebook to try to get a little bit more engagement, more exposure with them. And I think the business owners in the CRA district will appreciate that. And we also will let the community know. A lot of people don't know about the restaurants that we do have in downtown. So I'm a huge advocate about supporting local. Every dollar that's spent in Belle Glade, if you spend $1 in Belle Glade, especially with locals, 67 cents comes back. If you go and you spend that at Starbucks, nothing comes back. You order online, nothing comes back. You got to support local. You're supporting a family, a friend, a mom, a dad. Next slide. I think it froze on me. Did it freeze? Give it 1 second, guys. We're having technical issues. Are you able to? There it goes. Housing and residential. Okay. Housing and residential life. So in the past, we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity. 6 of the homes that they've built in the CRA, the city donated the land, and they were able to build 2 beautiful homes, and that's on 5th Street. Those are 2 beautiful, nice homes. So we were able to do a little bit of that. In 2023, the senior rehab program was established or developed. They were able to help a lot of seniors in the CRA district, so they did a lot of good stuff there. In 2024, the city sold a property, either for the purpose of demolishing it and building again. In 2025, recently, the city sold 2 properties, the 564 Southwest 4th Street and the 309 Southwest 6th Street. The proposers are, one of the properties had a very, very blighted house. The proposer is thinking about either demolishing it or fixing it up, trying to fix it up. You know, it makes the CRA look better. The other proposer is working on trying to do and build some condominiums in the CRA district, which is great. You know, it lifts it up, it looks and it revamps it a little bit. So that's a little bit of what was done in 2025, but we want more. So one of the things that we're working on is similar to how we did the business grants. We're going to try and do something with the home, trying to do something for the home grants. We're in the process of developing a program, and we're gonna also do it in phases. We're gonna try and break it down. So similar, if we give, this is an example, if we give a property owner $5,000, they would have to match $5,000. And it's just to improve their facades. This is like for landscape, paint, an outdoor door, just to make it look a little bit better and a little bit more appealing in the CRA district. Public improvements and infrastructure. The city has done a lot here. We've connected with SCOP, DOT. We've worked on several water drainage projects, resurfacing, reconstruction. We've revamped some parks in the CRA, but we want more. So ongoing initiatives are the TPA studies and the Avenue A proposed plan. And I put on here, well, we wish we can do more and more streets, but right now we're focusing on Avenue A. Potentially in the future, we can keep on moving forward with more and more streets. Next slide. Community development. Based on community and all the feedback, you all mentioned that you guys wanted to see us a little bit more, and that's why we're here. We're trying to give you guys an update, and we're going to be pushing for more because we want to see more. I talked a little bit about the TGIT. Thank goodness it's Thursday, similar to Coffee with a Cop. One of the things staff talked about potentially implementing is the bus tours. I know that the city of Green Acres or the city of Wellington, they do these like similar to Hop On, Hop Off. They partner with PalmTran, and some of them do them at no cost. Some of them do charge a little something to try and support the cities. But potentially doing it just for the CRA district, you pay your $50, you hop on the bus, and we're going to go visit all these little shops, and we're going to go get something about it. But it just creates a little bit of more engaging with the community, and it also supports the business, and it gives it a little bit more exposure. So something like a hop on, hop off. Blocks of history. We're trying to see if we're able to partner with the schools as well, pushing for that initiative. Partnering with the schools to let the community know, and the majority of the kids, growing up, I didn't know a lot of things that I know now, but I wish I would have gotten a little bit more exposure when I was in high school. Just taking them over downtown, that's our historical side of our community. So doing a little bit more of that, potentially doing, I think it cut it off there, but working on like a mural square, have a specific block that's just for murals, like a mini Wynwood, to give just the community something to do, or a site to go visit, or something, something just to look at. That makes it a little bit more appealing. Next slide. Public safety. We've done a lot here. This year, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the year, the commission approved 2 ordinances, and the ordinance had 2 readings, and they were approved. Basically, some of these buildings have become a safety hazard for the community. They're about to fall down, and so it's really, so we've been trying with the business owners. You know what? You have to take it down. If something happens, the city could be liable. You can too. And we've done everything. We run through legal. We do everything in the paperwork and follow all the rules and everything. So we give them the option. Before we're going to demo, we'll let them know, you know what? If you don't demo it, we're going to demo it. You have certain amount of time or days to demolish it yourself, otherwise we will. Our prices might be higher because, of course, they charge the city more. So thankfully, we've been very, very successful. Now, if the city demolishes it, it goes on their tax roll. So now it's a lien that they have to pay. The city does not pay that. The city will get the money back. So a lot of them do it themselves for that same reason. They don't want to pay the city because obviously it'll be more instead of them doing it themselves. And we're going to keep on working on that and taking down the blighted properties or things that we feel are a community hazard. We're working on the TPA Avenue A project. Next slide. Some of these you may recognize. This was, that's a white-haired man with a mayor. That's 251 West Avenue A. That was the beginning of the year. That was before it was a hazard. We had to put safety and everything around it. We told them we were going to go in, and that Friday, and the business owner called and he said, I'll take care of it this weekend. Sure enough, Monday was down. So that's one. Next slide. We were going behind that person for years, They didn't take it down until we said we're going to do it ourselves, and it's going to go on your tax roll. It's not for free. They took it down right away. 406 Dr. MLK Boulevard East. That was a hazard. So a lot of them, there's more in here. I didn't have enough time to put the pictures, but they have been demolishing them, which gives value. Now there's a property. It's potentially either to they can sell it. Somebody can come in, develop it. So the city is funding these. They're going to have to pay it back, but we're going to go and demo 400. These were completed. 400 Southwest 3rd Street, 521 Southwest 5th Street, 256 West Avenue A. Those were completed. Those have been demoed. Upcoming, these have already been funded for. 565 West Avenue A, 141 Northwest 2nd Street, 165 West Avenue A, 416 East Canal Street, 516 Southwest Avenue B. So it's going to be a lot of cleaning up to do. Next slide. A vision requires action, otherwise it remains abstract. I always tell people the city of Belle Glade has so much potential. It's so much potential, guys. We're an hour away from Palm Beach, one of the largest growing counties in the state and the nation. There's so much potential here. There's so much money here. There's so many things that we could do. Look at that beautiful picture of what we used to be in the downtown area. We could lift it up, and there's so many things that we could do. And I just added a couple little things on there, that other cities. And another thing too, a lot of the streets in Belle Glade, not every street in Belle Glade we own. Some of the streets county owns, so people get upset with me. Well, we can't do anything, that's county. We can refer the message to the county, but some of the streets county owns, DOT owns, some of them we own. And the ones that we own, we have a little bit more control to do what we want on there. So one of the things I said, well, you know what we can do? We can close some Avenue A once it's revamped and it looks nice. We can do Christmas markets, just like other cities do. Christmas markets, parades, something like a Mardi Gras, like a mini Mardi Gras festivals, all these cool things. Belle Glade has a lot of potential. So next slide, that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? We're good? Yes, sir.
As far as, did you guys already work on plans on, I don't know if I've seen it somewhere, what you guys want to do to Avenue A as far as
That's the next presentation. Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry. I meant to say that here as part of the agenda. I have to conclude it. I wanted to give everybody an update about the things that we're doing, but I'm not allowed to talk about the updates because once we go for grants, they're going to say, no, you had to do a presentation specifically on Avenue A. So I'm going to conclude it here, and we'll come back because we'll give everybody the opportunity to scan the QR code. So this concludes this one, and we'll move on to the next one. If anyone ever wants a copy, also just let us know. Email me. I left my business card, and Mr. Harrell's business card on there for you guys. It's a comprehensive plan of the CRA. It's a really good one. It's just a lot of pages, but it's really good. If anybody ever wants a copy, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to do that. Okie doke. And the CRA has been lucky to have many hats to work. And the CRA department consists of me, Mr. Schreiner, Keith Schreiner. He works for Miller Leg and Associates, but he's our city engineer, our project manager. Miss Diana Hughes, who does all the finance. Mr. Kramer, who helps us out with all the things that we have to gather for the demo. And now our new building official here, Mr. Travis, will get his little hands a little bit dirty in there with us. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right. As he mentioned, my name is Keith Schreiner. I'm a consultant for the city. Back in August, Palm Beach County TPA came and did a presentation on the study that was conducted along Avenue A. There's a copy of those presentations here. I think the mayor handed some of them out. So as part of this planning document, we need to do some community outreach. So if you want to go ahead and skip over to... So there was an overview. In the study, they looked at the existing conditions. They did a walk audit. They reached out to some of the business owners along the street, and we came up with some concepts. So the existing condition as it is today, it's basically a two-lane road with parking on each side and a sidewalk. The sidewalk varies a little bit in width, but all along this stretch that we're looking at of Avenue A, you have very extreme side slopes of the road. The sidewalk is in bad condition. there's some hazards along the way, and that's really what we're trying to correct here. So as you can see, some of the photos, you got the sidewalks. You know, go to the next slide. There's some drainage issues, and again, that's due to some of the settlement issues that you have along the road and the super elevations along the way. Next slide. Again, some more photos of the sidewalk and some of the repairs that we've been trying to do while we're looking for funding to actually get a design for the full entire stretch. You also have the bus station there. You know, there's the plaza along the road. So, as part of the study, they came up with some of the proposed improvements. It's a combination of parklets, which are basically on-street dining areas, some textured intersection markings, bicycle lanes, landscape buffers, street light, curb extensions. A lot of those are shown in this photo here. Next slide. Some Actually, that's a go to the next one. Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned previously, there's an image of the existing conditions: the 2 lanes, on-street parking, sidewalks, and the building fronts. One of the options they came up with. It's frozen. Oh, there you go. Is shown here. So you have the parklets, the on-street dining next to the roadway, and then they wanted to widen the sidewalk. So we're looking at a 10-foot wide sidewalk on each side, and then a 9-foot buffer between the roadway. The roadways, we're looking at 2 10-foot wide lanes. So really what we're going to be playing with here is that 9-foot buffer in between the road and the sidewalk. One option is to do parklets on each side. Another one would be doing landscape and maybe a parklet on the other side, or a combination of both landscaping. Next option, as you can see, just landscaping along the roadway, and then keeping the same configuration of the on-street parking in the lanes, but extending the sidewalk to 11 feet. Instead of doing like a 5-foot sidewalk, kind of how it is now, with like 12-foot lanes and 12-foot on-street parking. So right here, you can see it's actually 4 blocks. It's going from Main Street over to 4th Street. So here was one of the things they came up with as an option, showing on-street parking in some areas. You have some landscape along the way. They're showing textured intersections. The area in front of the banyan tree, they're showing the parklets. So this is kind of where we're reaching out to the community to see which one of these options do you guys really like. So go to the survey. Well, go to the QR code first. So we had launched a survey online. We also have hard copies, so if you want to fill out a hard copy, you can do that as well. But there's an online survey that goes through block by block and presents those options that I just went over. Again, it's going to be either street parking on each side, a combination of street parking and parklets and landscaping. I think I came up with 5 options instead of the 4 that the TPA had proposed. There's also the textured intersections is one of the questions, and there's a gateway sign as well. And I'm going to go over the presentation real quick for you guys, a little bit slower than I went over this, but we'll go ahead and did everybody have a chance to scan the QR code, or you can always scan it after the meeting? And again, we have hard copies, so you can fill out the hard copies and turn them in. But you want to go to the other presentation?
With those images that you're giving, seems pretty fine and everything, but they would be parking. So as far as like the east and west direction, maybe putting more designated parking areas in the north and south areas, because like we have the One Royals building, where it's enormous, and it's, all it is a two-way street. Maybe we can convert those streets into one-way streets and offer more parking on the north and south parts of that area. So that way we can keep the parking and at the same time, you know, beautify the area as well.
Right.
So I mean, I think we have to take that into consideration as well.
Well, even like some of the landscaping, you might lose a spot for one landscape island, but it still breaks up the street and gives some shade for people who are trying to commute, by foot or by bike. So the first question you'll get in the survey is, do you want the textured intersection? So I kind of have a photo of what a textured intersection would look like. It's paint, markings, whatever. We could do some kind of, CRA mural or whatever city logo that what goes in the textured intersection would be a whole nother, thing. Right now, we're just trying to figure out if you guys want them or not. Again, it just brings color to the whole area, to the whole block. The other thing would be a gateway sign coming in off of Main Street. The sign would kind of bring more presence to the street, allow people to see, oh, look, it's this is a block, an historic avenue. Again, what the sign will look like, what will be on the sign, will be determined later. Now we just want to know if what the community wants to do, if we want it or not. So some of the options. What I presented was option A would be landscaping and a parklet. Option B would just be landscaping on each side. And again, it's not going to be the whole street. You'll have, you'll break up the on-street parking with a landscape island here and there. Or just keep it as it is and widen the sidewalks, narrow some of the streets so you get 11-foot sidewalks both sides, 9-foot parallel parking, 10-foot lanes. The other option would be doing parking on one side, landscape on the other, and then you have parallel parking in the parklets as well. Most of the streets will still have to keep the parallel parking along the way, but we want to get a feel for, what you guys are really looking for. So go to the next slide.
And just to add in there, you're saying basically that we have the option to do something differently with each block.
Right, exactly. And so we broke out the survey by block. So the first block is from Main Street to First, and then First to Second, Second to Third, Third to Fourth. And from the image, you can see like that block is mainly landscape and parallel parking. We're breaking up the parallel parking with some landscape islands. So, for the survey, you have options A through F. F, you can kind of put in a little bit extra, of what you think what you might want to see. But, for the most part, those I feel like were the different combinations of the options that you can go with. If you really want to see just landscape and parallel parking, then you would choose option D. So you have some landscape islands with your parallel parking. If someone really thinks, we don't need any parallel parking, probably not the case, but, you would choose option B, which are landscape islands across the whole way. So next slide is block number 2. Again, same options. But this one you might want to just do some landscape with the parallel parking. It's all up to what feedback we get from the community. The third block, you do have some storefronts there. I don't know how many restaurants are along there, so I don't know if the parklets would be desired. You do have the bus stop on the corner, so you might want a little bit more landscape on this block just because you have people getting off the bus, they're walking along the sidewalk. We need to provide some shade for them. But again, we're just trying to get feedback from the community on what you guys think you want to provide for this area. Next slide is the last block. Actually, there was a typo on here. It's the same slide, but the block number 4 goes from 3rd to 4th. This is where you have the banyan tree on the corner. So, Ideally, that's probably where you're gonna want a parklet, at least on that block. Go ahead, sir.
How are you getting feedback from the community?
So the survey that we launched at was it last month? It's, we have the hard copies and the QR code. There was copies of the QR code was placed at different facilities. I think Parks and Rec had it, online, Facebook, City Hall.
Rotary, they sent it over, different organizations, we tried spreading out the word.
So right now we have 27 responses I've received. You know, we'll keep it open and try to get as many responses as we can. But yeah.
It's not gonna be sufficient. What about the people that don't have smartphones or get to those?
So we have the hard copies. I mean, if anyone wants to take the survey, you go to any of the city facilities and ask, you know, we can get you a hard copy survey, you know, survey documents. One of the last questions.
The people that are on Avenue, they definitely have to be involved. Because these are people that know those streets better than anyone else.
Absolutely.
I mean, so they're the ones that can tell you whether we need more parking, less parking, more sidewalk. So somehow, some way, the people from the city have to visit some of these stores. I personally didn't know nothing about the QR code.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So what I'm saying by this is, most important, of course, we want to get everybody's feedback. But the people that are definitely down those streets, that have businesses there, that live there, that want to invest there, you know, most importantly, they should give a much better feedback than anyone else.
I know when we did the walkthrough along the street last year during that TPA study, some of the business owners were involved in that. I know like the Banyan Tree people were there. There was some of those business owners were out there. They walked the street with them. They helped provide the feedback for the initial study where these sections were developed.
Why don't we just incorporate the parking with the, you know, with the trees and stuff like that? You know, when you drive down, Clematis Street.
Right.
They have trees and they have parking and they have, you know, trash bins as well.
Yeah.
You know, benches for people to sit on. So these, you know, Pace was kind of right, is because parking's essential, you know, because even back in the day, I mean, I remember doors were getting taken off. My door got taken off on Avenue A just because people were going up and down the street.
Right.
But, you know, I've known people fight over parking spots on Avenue A, but maybe we have to incorporate, and it's great that we're doing surveys and stuff, but you gotta remember the business owners as well. And 27 out of the population of, what are we, 3,000, 4,000 people in Belle? You know, I'm sorry. I've been asleep for a couple of years. I'm sorry.
For the last census, we're probably 20,000 now.
But I'm saying 27, and then you have one opinion.
Yeah.
Of the Banyan Tree. You know, you
No,
have one
it's-
opinion, oh, hey, Banyan Tree, what do you think? I mean, but we all have to pitch in. But I think it probably would be more essential if we had the landscape with the parking, or like I said, maybe run north and south and east and west.
Right. Well, like, you know,
Designated parking.
if you eliminate one parking spot, you might be able to squeeze in 2 or 3 landscape islands. You know what I mean? So it's the give and take. You know what I mean?
You can always work out the plans back and forth.
Right.
Property owners.
And this is getting feedback. So I mean, we haven't designed anything yet. You know what I mean? This is all.
Exactly, and that's why that gives you the options, and you're right, you know, one person, but it gives you the option for that reason, and it gives us the options. I thought we had to do the whole street the same way. No, each block can be different. So one block can just be only parking, one block can just be landscape, one block can just be parking. It's however you guys want to do it, really.
So, I got a question now. I mean, you know, you guys, of course, got the plan in the right direction. But is there some type of timeline or budget that's allocated already for this project? Or this is still something that let's get ideas and then try to figure out how we're gonna make it happen? Is it gonna get approved for sure?
So part of this study and this workshop is to check some boxes so we can get grants. So we're gonna go after design grants so we can actually get this thing going in motion. You know, this would probably have to be phased potentially in 4 phases, do 1 block at a time. You know,
Is there anything in the plans, I mean, let's say if they get to that process, street back to life. I mean, there's a lot of properties on that block that, you know, that need work. Not everybody's
Right.
invested into their properties and make them look good. Now you got someone that's willing to invest. I mean, like someone like Faisal, you know, investing on his whole block. Then you got parts of it where it's just ran down. What are you guys gonna do about that? I mean, is that gonna just stay like that, or these people get fines or penalized or something where they're kind of forced to fix up the block since, okay, I'm investing, but across the street looks like, you know,
So typically, we,
something implemented in this plan that, you know, that you can enforce on other people to kind of, you know, motivate them to invest in it, or penalize them, or whatever it is, some way to get where, because for it to work, the whole block gotta change.
right,
You know, it can't be one, you know, this side, these buildings looking good, the other side looks, you know, just horrible. It gotta be the whole block. For us to get the vision that we all wanna see here, it gotta be all done. You know, so I think those things also need to be put in the plan on. When this happens, we know everything gets taken care of.
right.
Versus we're going in, fixing the road, and I hope these people just put money into their.
Hey, Keith, let me interrupt a minute. So, make a couple comments, if y'all don't mind. So you guys all got valid points here, and that's the reason, first of all, having this meeting, so we can get the input. The second thing is through the TPA, to see what kind of interest we have from the community about what we want. Yes, the funding would come, but we want to get a buy-in from the community, not by parts and parts. So we come up with the design of everything we want, and then the politicians, the lobbyists, advocate for the funding. We don't know what that's going to be until we get the layout of what you guys want. Yes, we've done a poor job of getting it out there, but we have more meetings to come to make sure you all be aware of where we're going with this project. Now, to answer your question in terms of the buy-in, if I own the business now and it's kind of shabby, if I see there's a major infrastructure, what it's going to do? It's going to motivate me to do better with my property. So we hoping that everybody buy. Yeah, we hoping that buy in. But guess what? If they don't, that's where the codes come in. Okay, that's where the code enforcement come in. So this is phase one to get you guys in. And I'll give you an example. Raise your hand if you recall Dead Man Curve. Anybody remember that? Years ago, what were they doing? Patching it up. Every year, they putting money, throwing money out there in the wind, patching it up. But through the TPA, and now that the Glade community, Belle, Glade, South Bay, and Pahokee, we have a seat at the table. And so some 25 years ago, we said, no, we're tired of you guys patching it up. Let's do a good job. Now look at it. Is it nice? State Road 80 lighting. 15 years. TPA. But you got to have a plan about what you want and how you want it, and the buy-in from the community. And the community say, this is what we want, and this is how we want to lay it out. Now we find the funding to make it happen. 080. We got a plan for that. Nobody really travels that road anymore. It's like this. How you think New 80 came about? We have a plan. So the buy-in from you guys, and you're right, Ms. Faith, word of mouth sometimes help, because when we went out there some year ago, we wanted you guys to be excited. We out there. We're not just talking. We have the engineers out there to figure out how we can make this work. But the buy-in from you guys stand up for a minute. Y'all stand up. Y'all three are here. And Ms. Faith, y'all turn around. I want these people to see you guys. They've been a part of Avenue A for years. For years. And so we owe this obligation to you to make sure. We don't want to patch it up. We could easily just say, let's do a resurface. That's not what we want. Absolutely. So we want to get you guys to tell us how you want it, lay it out, and then we find the funding. That's the plan. That's the plan. So, you know, at the end, when you finish, we're going to have my colleagues, commissioners. Yes.
Most important part right now is kind of finalize on
What you want. There you go. There you go. And then put it in our hands to advocate. We have lobbyists to fight for the funding. But they need to know what we want. And yet, we got to do a better job. Ms. Hosmer, you're right. We got to do a better job getting it out there. And guess what? You guys can help us do that. We don't have to come here and say, hey, here's the problem. Help us advocate what we need out there. Got you. Got you. Now, I know we're not finished, Keith. I didn't mean to interrupt. And then we'll go ahead and we'll want my colleagues to make comment too, but we'll let him finish and then we'll end up with summary.
So yeah, so this planning document, the goal to this planning document is to get information back from the community and also go after grants. Once the design process starts, there will be more workshops, there will be more community outreach during the design process. We're not even there yet. We just need feedback. When you mentioned about fixing up the buildings and everything along the street, typically a project like this stays within the right of way. But that's where the CRA comes in, you know. Z mentioned putting out those grants, that matching dollars to fix the frontage of the buildings. You know, this specific project is geared towards the right of way, correcting the sidewalk issues, correcting the super slopes along the road, giving better drainage from block to block, revitalizing the public space. But yes, to your point, the whole block from store frontage to the right-of-way does need to be revitalized, and that's the purpose of the CRA district, you know, that's.
And I like to bring some of that stuff out, and we're talking about drainage as well. We have all drainage going in the front, as far as the front of the building, but we're not considering the back of the buildings as well. You're talking about Florida where we have floods and we have thousands of gallons of water, and this deters our properties, you know, and never took it into consideration until something happens, and then you're like, well, how did this happen after 70-something years? I mean, it's through weathering and time. So.
Yep.
And I hope that we do take as far as consideration of we need exit ways of water and due to alleyways as well. So.
At the end of the survey online, there is a section where you can put in your recommendations. So after you fill out the survey, the last question is type whatever you want kind of answer. So we've gotten some feedback already to where people mentioned doing, you know, a food trucks, you know, have a food truck spot. You know, on one of the blocks, there's a big field. Granted, it's not owned by the city, so we would have to do some communication, but you could put in anything. Someone mentioned fixing up one of the alleyways, you know, behind block number 4, the last block. You know, so you have the opportunity to express whatever, you know. Yes.
So part of the work would be also behind.
Well, this one's specific to the right-of-way along Avenue A, but you have the option to provide further feedback, you know, of unrelated items. You can keep it to Avenue A, you can talk about whatever, it's literally, there's no, you know.
Well, we've been here over 50 years, so we have time.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
But without a plan, we can't get funding, you know. And then you go to the design stage. Once the design gets done, then we seek more funding. 3rd Street between Canal and MLK, we have a design that's been done. We've been chasing funding for 2 years. It's for stormwater improvements. There's another basin, H1 is in the CRA limits. It's on the south side of MLK from Main to, I think, 3rd or 4th. That project's almost 100% designed, and we're going after more funding to do the construction portion of it. So, I mean, once you have it as finished design, the grantors are more likely to give you funding. And it's the same thing with the planning documents. We go after grants to do the planning documents. Once you have the planning document done, now they're more likely to give you money to do the design. And then the design's done, now they want to give you money to do the construction. And a lot of times, if you stay within the same grant program, they like to see that better too, because they know they paid for your planning documents, so they want to see you keep moving forward.
So you have to have a plan, so that's why we're here.
And we will get out more QR codes out to the community.
We're gonna have to outreach, I guess, directly, especially with the business owners. You guys mentioned something about the business owners on Avenue A. You know, we tried, we did our best, but if we could definitely go, I guess, door to door and tell them, hey, this is what's going on. We need your input, you know?
Well, let's, you know,
This is your
set
business,
a
so-
date and time where,
Okay.
you know, we can all let everybody know what the date you guys are all gonna be out there and just kind of walk. I know you guys did it already, but now that plans in hand, you know what I'm saying? And then kind of just brainstorm it, to finalize a big plan and go on to step two, you know?
And there's a stack of the surveys here, of the hard copies. You guys can take, you know, even if you fill one out on your phone, take some with you if you know there's other people in the neighborhood, and tell them to just drop it back off at City Hall when they're done, or scan it and email it to someone. There's business cards up here. You could always email if you want to get a email version of the QR code to forward to your friends. I mean, that's part of this process of having this outreach, is so you guys can help us get the word out as well.
We'd like the community to give in too.
Right.
I mean, we would like to hear from the community, so maybe even if we have people that were doing, I think you mentioned it, where people are doing the assessments and asking, go to door and ask people, hey, what would you like? You know, in a historical area like this, because these buildings been up there since 1940s, maybe even before that. You know, I'm not quite sure about Belle Glade's history, but I know from 1940s, you know, we had buildings that looked like Western systems, from our memory, so.
The picture I showed there, someone told me this morning, I thought it was from the 60s or 70s. They said, no, that's from the 30s. I said, oh, they look nice. So absolutely.
Maybe I'll give out a QR code that the businesses as they get off, cause every day I'm at Banyan Tree. And if it's like up there, I would have scanned it.
Absolutely.
We don't have the businesses doing the outreach as well.
For sure, absolutely. Yeah. We'll print out several copies and we'll have our team reach out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let them sit.
Since y'all spending all this money, who's gonna take care of it?
We will, sir. It's our responsibility to maintain it.
I mean, way it's got to this shape now, how can you say y'all gonna take care of it? You go down Main Street, Farmland Falls, they sat there for 2 or 3 days in the middle of the road. I understand, I won't be able to be beautiful. Back in 1954, up to the 60s, this was a beautiful town. We had restaurants, we had 5 and 10 cent stores, a lot of jewelry stores, drive-ins, theaters. But if you run down Main Street right now, that's why come everybody's complaining. Everybody I talk to about this, who's gonna keep it?
Well, you
I
know,
mean, if the town, if the Avenue A looks like it is right now, why hasn't it been cleaned? There's paper everywhere. You got a sweeper. When the sweeper goes through there, it leaves marks. You can see wherever that sweeper goes, where he dodged and everything. I've been watching. And I've been going to other cities. I mean, they take care of it. Like City of Hoboken. They got people going out there with things, pulling the garbage can, picking up in Main Street. City of Belle, their hands are toes. They don't know what to do. That's why I want Belgrade to be beautiful. Because I was born here. I was raised here. When I was born, I was living in a tin shack out there on Avenue A.
You're absolutely right, sir. There's a lot of
But
things
I
that
mean,
we have to do.
it's more than the citizens. The city's got to do their part. And they're not doing it.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot that we have to do and we're trying.
But that's the thing we get now, y'all. That's what we need to do. We need proof you're gonna do it. That's the problem.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Why does a limb sits here on Main Street for 4 days, and a city truck passes it 3 or 4 times a day? They can't get out and pick it up, turn it forward as fast and pick it up in their car. No. They waiting on the supervisor to tell them. I mean, let's get real here. I would love to have Avenue A look beautiful like it was back in the 60s. I would love it. But as looking now, we're not going up, we're going down. So, I mean, come on here. The city here is just with a hand tied. They want to twiddle their thumb.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, thank you. Let's give Z and Keith a big hand. Thank you guys for the job well done. Here's what's gonna happen. We're looking for solutions, right? Raise your hand if you're looking for solutions. All right, we're looking for solutions. So let's get it. Teamwork make the dream work, right? And so we're engaged in this, not for conversation. We want to make this happen. And we need your input to make it happen. We're a family, okay? Years ago, absolutely right. I can recall in the early 70s, that was the hub of this community. And you guys, families, 2 and 3 generations, stood tall on it. You couldn't even walk down Avenue A. The business was thriving. The infrastructure is now what we've been working on. Let's work together. Let's advocate for these needs. We could talk about the problems all day, but that's not going to change anything. What we need to change is our attitude, how we approach it. And we approach it as a team to get the funding to make it happen. You guys are making the investment. We're here to do our part. Work with us to get it done. Okay, Mr. Manager?
I just want to say this.
Get the
Anybody
mic,
can
Mike.
find fault. Anybody can find fault. That's the easiest thing in the world. Is there problems in Belle Glade? Of course there is. Most cities you can find something wrong. But one thing I'll say about this commission and the lobbyists that they have chosen, of all the small cities in the state of Florida, of all of them, the city of Belle Glade receives more grants than any other city anywhere near their size. The people in our finance department, they have staff that's what they do, day in and day out. And they bring what they find to apply for grants. Our success rate is phenomenal. And when they come before you tonight, the citizens, and present what they want to do, I don't want you to think that this is just up here. We're going to talk about it. We're not going to follow through. The commission and the lobbyists have a fantastic record of receiving the funds to follow through on whatever we suggest. And I want to emphasize that. The city of Belle Glade is extremely successful through our leadership in obtaining grants. The proof is in the pudding, no question about it.
Okay. The last thing, then I'm going to yield to my colleagues for brief comments. Do you really think Palm Beach County and the TVA going to waste millions of dollars through a design and not do anything with it? Do y'all really think that? Yeah, and yet we're talking about now moving forward. Yes, we're moving forward. Yeah, moving forward. Yes, yeah, but we're moving forward, Manny. There you go.
Invested a lot of our time, a lot of our taxpaying money, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that street.
And that's why we're here now.
That's why we want it.
Yes,
Not only do we want it for ourselves, but we don't want to see our city deteriorate.
right.
We don't want to see, it's a great city. I mean, where can you go not pay an HOA and park a freaking semi-truck or park whatever, a helicopter or whatever you want on your property other than Belle Glade?
Okay.
This is a great place, a
We
great
would.
place to raise their family.
Okay. We want to move forward, right? Okay. All right. Commissioner Collins, followed by Commissioner Reach, and then we'll close out with our Vice Mayor. Commissioner Collins, you've been recognized at this time for brief comments. By the way, I want to tell you, good job, you guys, putting this together. The TPA is just waiting on you guys. They're waiting on you guys.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Z and your team, I want to thank you all for doing such an amazing job on this display and this presentation on tonight. It was very, very much needed. I know we have spoke on these things numerous of times, and we are super excited for each and every one of you all that pour into the city, because your investment means a lot to me as well. I myself can stand and say I used to go in your stores and shop when I was in high school, and so that's how long it's been. You do a good job at keeping them up. We want to invest back into what you have already invested in. I am a person that likes to work behind the scene. I don't like to be up front. As you guys were talking, I was taking notes. And like he said, when we go before our lobbyists and different things like that, these notes means a lot because it came from you. And we are going to fight to get this money. We've been awarded some dollars already. Those projects are being, put in place. Before I came onto the commission, I never understood, why it took so long for things to happen. However, government don't work like that. So I'm in the seat now, and I'm getting recognized for some work that someone else have done years ago because I'm a commissioner now. However, those dollars that commission allocated for, they're here. They're being used. They're being put to use. We got a fund spot coming up. We voted on some time ago. There's a lot of things that are coming. It's not going to happen overnight. I may not even be in the seat when some of these things come, but I know that it's been approved and those dollars are sitting there for the work to be done. And so tonight, listening at you guys with, all of the ideas that you have for the beautification for Avenue A, I'm super excited about it myself. I love going fine dining. I love sitting in nice restaurants. And I don't mind spending my money when it's something nice. You guys have done a good job. The pizza shop is nice. The famous wings, all of that. Yeah, it's growing over there. And it started with you. So we want to be able to pour back into what you have already done. And I know it's not easy to manage a business. You do have to put your all into it. But I can contest, as long as I'm here, I will work with this commission, our city manager, our assistant city manager, all of our staff, and make sure that I do my part to make sure that what you said tonight gets done. Thank you.
Commissioner Reese.
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming out this evening, because this input that we're receiving from you is very important for us to move forward. One of the things that I hope will happen for the future is that the business owners in Avenue A and downtown will organize and come together and share with us those things that you need. But when we fill out these grant applications and go before our commissioners and our representatives in Tallahassee or even the federal government, we need you to stand alongside us as we seek those fundings. And I think by having your organization, association of downtown owners working together, putting their input in as well, we can be very successful. One reason why we have been successful in the past in getting funding before from the state as well as from the county is we always put skin in the game. We're not going empty-handed. We have funds that we have set aside for those projects. And when they see that we're putting skin in the game, then they're willing to do the same. So I believe that when they see all of us putting skin in the game to make downtown better, it'll be easy for us to be more successful. I remember the days too. When I was a little boy, when we went downtown, as a matter of fact, with photos when I was 3 years old, had to go take a picture and fell in the street and scratched my nose. My grandmother reminded me all of that all the time, but I always see that photo that we took when we went downtown. And so I like to see that again. I too have been disappointed with what has happened in our downtown area. When I came back here 20 years ago, even before then, I saw how downtown looked, and I wanted to see something different. But I think this is the beginning, and what we need to do, let's come together, let's work together, let's get these surveys out so we can get the information in to the designers to make sure whatever we decide to do, that it's going to fit what you plan to do for your businesses. And we want to stand alongside you when you prepare to look for funding for your businesses to improve it as well. And we as a city commit to be beside you to do that. One of the things that Z mention to you, and I think is very important, is that we come up with programs of activities and festivals that we can do downtown to draw people into the downtown area. I know coming from Savannah, there was a River Street Festival, and every October, every Friday of October, they had something downtown in River Street, and it brought a big crowd there each and every year. And so we can come up with some things to happen downtown as well. And so I think working with you, with the city, with the county, we can make some things happen downtown, and it will become an area that you'll be proud of. But it's not just the city. It's all of us working together, the citizens, the business owners, as well as commissioners and city staff, to make this city a beautiful place. The city cannot do it by themselves. It's all of us working together to make this city beautiful. And that's what I encourage you to do as the downtown owners. Get together, organize, come up with some ideas of things you want to do down there and how you want this city to support you. And we can come alongside you, all of us working together to make this thing happen. So again, I'm so glad to see all of you here. I know this is not the last time we will come together. We'll come together again and encourage some of the other business owners that are not here tonight. Encourage them to come and give their input. So again, thank you for what you do in our community. Thank you for the business that you bring to our community. And we're going to work very hard to make sure we support you in everything that you do and help this downtown to thrive again like it was before. Matter of fact, to exceed what it was before. And we thank you again for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And last but not least, Vice Mayor Amazon.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. I just first want to thank y'all for coming out. I don't want to repeat what all we said, but just some of my ideas or some of my concerns. First of all, this is y'all street, y'all business. Y'all know what's best out there and what designs and stuff. So I think also where we, as a city, slip. I know these QR codes sometimes, if you don't have a paper, you can't print it out. We send it out. So sometimes maybe a link is better than taking a picture or something. We've had several meetings. The TPA came down here and did this presentation maybe 2-3 months ago, the first time. Maybe we're not doing a better, we need to do a better job just to put it out. Again, one of my concerns, so something we didn't address, or maybe Keith didn't talk about it, is street lighting and also cameras, because I think that'll help bring businesses up there to the people, make them feel safer. Because I know there's not a lot of street parking, so maybe, I remember going back in the days when Diane Shops and Hollingsworth and all of that, we used to park back there, walk to the front. So we got to make it safe where people can, even if there's not parking sufficient in the streets, because we're going to use some of that for, restaurants or whatever on the side. We also need to put lighting and cameras so when people walk, they feel safe to go there. So that's something that, but we can do it because there's projects with the TPA and other that's called Safe Streets. So that's all, like the mayor says, up and coming. But again, I just want to say thank y'all. We need your input. That's the most important thing. We need your input, your community, this whole, not just the businesses, y'all are out there, but also the citizens, because we want them to shop here and spend their money here. Growing up, this is where we shop. Nobody went to West Palm. You had to go all the way down to Lake Park to the mall or anything. We want businesses to shop here. I do my most important things, groceries. I shop here at Winn-Dixie. And this is what we need, the mentality of all the people here in the Glades, now with other things, people can do everything, get it delivered to their house. But anyways, we need to shop here. This is y'all's streets, our streets, and we need to work with y'all and hear y'all out. That's the most important thing. So I appreciate y'all for coming out tonight.
Thank you. So we heard from the city manager, our colleagues, commissioners, and the vice mayor, and we'll ask Ms. Z to come up and give us the last word in terms of where we go from here. Keep in mind, in 2 years, we'll be 100 years young. In 2 years, between 1928, when this city was established, there's a lot of things underneath this ground that we had to take care of and we'll continue to take care of. And that's money that we have to have a relationship with other folks, because there's no way the city of Belgrade can do it alone. millions of dollars are getting spent right now, getting all this old stuff from underneath the ground right now. And so the infrastructure got to be in place. So Z, come up and give us some last words. And thank you all again. Your input is important to us. We're not there, but we're on the right path if we just stick together and advocate it as a team.
So thank you. I want to thank everybody for taking the time and coming out here and joining us in this CRA Town Hall meeting. I want to thank staff, Mayor and Commission for being here. Thank you guys. There's a lot of work to be done. You're absolutely right. I can't wish anything best for Belle Glade. I'm born and raised here in Belle Glade. I've seen it too. So a lot of work to be done. We're going to try and share the QR code, if not the actual survey, and try and drop it off. If you guys can help us out, spread the word, that'd be great. Do we have to do a better job? Absolutely. Are we going to get there? Absolutely. Absolutely. With your help. So thank you all. Have a good night.